Guys, welcome to Woke Societies. It's Scott here from Woke Society Studio, here to drop another awesome episode for you. So guys, I am feeling good. Everyone out there should be feeling good as well. These are amazing times that we are living in right now, and we should all be grateful that we're witnessing history each and every day. The news out there is breaking, and we're going to jump into a lot of newsy stuff in the beginning, but we're going to get into the main crux of the episode, which is going to be about Tulsi Gabbard, whether we believe she's a white hat or not. There's a lot of theories out there about who she really is and who she's really working for, so we're going to get into that today. But just as I always do, my one shout out to myself as far as my subs. We are at 1,902, guys. This is something I did not think I would be able to achieve so fast, but because of you guys, it's happening. And I appreciate it. The channel has been monetized, by the way. It was monetized within 2 days. It's limited. It's limited because of the controversial content that YouTube says I have. It's still making some revenue now, and it's starting to come in. So I'm going to be opening up an account for the business so I can start doing super chats. I want to do live shows with you guys, and I want to get the ball rolling on this channel. Thank you so much for the ones that have supported me already. It's growing. I want to be able to get to 2,000 subs by the end of the month, which I believe we can do. So again, guys, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content with your friends and family. It takes 2 seconds, and just do that for me, and I really appreciate it. Let's jump into the news, shall we? So, first up on the docket here, we have Hillary Clinton, which we're going to be talking a lot about today. State Department concludes Clinton email review says it found nearly 600 security violations. 600, guys. It's a shit ton. State Department investigators probing Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server as Secretary of State, discovered nearly 600 security incidents that violated agency policy, according to a report the Daily Caller News Foundation obtained. The investigation conducted by the State Department's Bureau of Diplomatic Security found 38 individuals were culpable for 91 security violations. Another 497 violations were found, but no individuals were found culpable in those incidents. The investigation concluded September 6th, and the report was issued September 13th. Now, I don't remember hearing about any of this. I don't know about you guys, but this article came out and I saw it, so I figured I'd let you know. The investigation sought to determine if the exchange of emails on Clinton's server represented failure to properly safeguard classified information, and whether any individuals at state were culpable for any of the failures. And again, here's Comey, the one that vouched for her. The FBI determined that thousands of the emails on Clinton's server contained some level of classified information. Some of those emails were found to have information classified as top secret, the highest level of classification. State Department investigators reviewed all of Clinton's emails, obtained hundreds of statements, and conducted dozens of in-person interviews with current and former State Department officials, according to the report. And guys, the only reason why I bring all this up is, it's like, so what? We've known about Clinton's emails for so long, right? But nothing's been done. Well, now we know for a fact that nearly 600 security incidents were violated. And we know there's a two-tier justice system, because if this was anybody else, they'd be locked up by now. Or even, locked up for treason, which would result in the death penalty. But either way, it talks about the Clintons' emails again, saying how they had classified information and that Chinese hackers were able to get in, which I don't believe at all. I believe they were let in, and a lot of our military and intellectual property was just handed over to the Chinese. It's unbelievable. But 600, guys, almost 600 security incidents that were violated. And the only reason why I really bring this up is there was a ton of articles, tons of mainstream media that were just recently talking about this because of the Clinton and Gabby Tollard incident. She's been in the news a lot lately. This started coming up, and the mainstream media just does damage control for these guys. And literally they were saying that these 600 security incidents were nothing. She was found guilty of nothing. And even Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch was calling out all these mainstream articles, and I was even seeing it on Facebook. Even some of the Q pages of people sharing these articles from mainstream media saying, I'm confused, why is mainstream media saying she's innocent? I'm like, guys, come on. We know better by now. We know better by now. The mainstream media is going to cover these up. It doesn't fit their narrative. She was supposed to win the election. They're going to do damage control till the day they burn and die. So just wanted to throw that in there. 600, guys. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So this article I found extremely interesting. Breaking. Convoy of trucks seen emptying Obama-linked former Ukrainian President Poroshenko's palace. Confidence arrested and flee. Schiff sent a staffer to Ukraine to meet with the former President Poroshenko after receiving the whistleblower report. This trip was sponsored by a think tank that receives funding from a program of left-wing billionaire George Soros' Open Society Foundation called Open Society Initiative for Europe. Here's Adam Schiff's signature authorizing the travel dated July 22nd. They met directly with former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, who lost to current President Vladimir Zelensky in a landslide 73-25 victory. But again, guys, look who Poroshenko was cozy with. Poroshenko was known for his strong ties to the Obama administration. Specifically, hold on, guys, I gotta switch these out. Driving me nuts. Oh, there we go. There we go. Poroshenko was known for his strong ties to the Obama administration, specifically Obama's point man for Ukraine. And now this. A convoy of trucks were seen emptying former President Poroshenko's home this weekend. And if the reports are accurate, this will be horrific news to the Democrats and Biden crime family. Poroshenko was behind all of the dirty dealings between the corrupt Obama administration and the Biden family corruption. And guys, you wonder, all this news about whistleblowers, Joe Biden, Adam Schiff, all these guys, have you heard one word from Obama? Anything? Have you even heard a word of Obama endorsing Joe Biden at all for his presidency run? You hear crickets. And that, guys, right there just tells you everything. He wants to get away from Biden as far as possible because all of these dark dealings that they were doing while Obama was president, Biden was his VP, they're all coming to light now. It's all being exposed. And why would a convoy of trucks be seen emptying his former house? Is he being investigated? What is he being investigated for? Is it ties to this? Obama? Biden's? Is it other corrupt things? We're going to wait and see. But guys, the fire is heating up. It's really heating up. So wanted to drop that there. And this one too. Top Never Trumpers tied to politician indicted for human smuggling and selling children. The names of some of the largest GOP critics of President Donald Trump are surfacing in the investigation of a politician indicted this week on charges of fraud, human smuggling, selling children, forgery, conspiracy, and ripping off the Arizona healthcare cost containment system. Before I continue, guys, this is going to probably end up being my next dig. Out in Maricopa County. There's some really crazy things happening out there right now that are coming to light. Maricopa County Assessor Paul Peterson has been indicted in Arizona, Utah, and Arkansas on state and federal charges that he is running an illegal adoption ring. In all, he's facing 62 criminal charges involving dozens of pregnant women brought in from the Marshall Islands to supply babies to Peterson's clients and millions to his bank account. Make no mistakes, this case is the purest form of human trafficking, the U.S. Attorney for Western Arkansas, Dwayne Datkey, said Wednesday at a press conference in Springdale, Arkansas, where he announced the federal indictments. Peterson's alleged schemes involved the securing pregnant women from the Marshall Islands. Flake is somewhat famous for his much-hyped personal trips to the Marshall Islands. Flake has trekked to the Marshall Islands at least 4 times, including once to film a reality survival show while he was in the Senate. Peterson's reference in 2013 to being invited on a Marshall Island trip with Flake is something that promises to pique the interest of state and federal investigators. And you can see the tweet right here, guys. Senator Flake went to the Marshall Islands again. Maybe next time I will be invited since I actually speak Marshallese. And he tags Jeff Flake. He adds him. Any investigator worth their salt would want to know what else Jeff Flake was doing on these trips to the Marshall Islands with Thomas Paine, a true pundit who worked for many federal agencies investigating fraud and corruption. I would want to interview Flake just to get a feel for his relationship with Peterson and information on these trips. And of course you would. You got to dig that. Any kind of information you can get out of him. would be great. Is this merely a strange coincidence? You rule out coincidence as part of a proper investigation, but the emphasis here is on the word proper. Peterson has bragged that his Mesa-based family has roots in Arizona for generations. Flake 2 hails from Mesa. And now here where it gets really interesting, guys. Let's see who this man is taking pictures with. Federal law enforcement sources say they do not believe Flake has been interviewed about Peterson. However, additional photos that have surfaced showing Peterson with politicians like Flake and the late John McCain should likewise intrigue ethical investigators. And here they are, guys. Good old John McCain himself, deep state asset. As corrupt as they come. Meeting with Senators Flake and McCain, Arizona County issues this morning. And here they are together again. And we all know about John McCain and human smuggling and all the other deep state stuff that he was involved with. And now this is coming to light. And what was Peterson's relationship with McCain? Peterson is mentioned in a news piece detailing McCain using his influence to secure $15 million in federal funds linked to a land purchase in Maricopa County to benefit a large political megadonor who piped almost $225,000 into McCain's coffers. Are there more questionable land deals to be probed? And there is. There's a lot. There's a lot that this goes into, but this is what my next dig is probably going to be because, guys, there is some messed up stuff going out in Maricopa County. But I just wanted to bring that up there. And again, he's a top never-Trumper. And guys, this is why Hollywood, the Dems, the socialists, they all want Trump to be eliminated out of office because the ones that are supporting, there are the never-Trumpers, a lot of them, as far as the politicians, are these same people that keep coming up with crimes, and it has to do with human trafficking and selling children and doing awful things to children. It's all connected. It's always going back to children. It's unbelievable. All right, some good news because we're going to get into some more bad news right after this, but this is great. This was out, it looks like, in Lebanon. The people are protesting, it looks like, their government. And the reason why I want to show you that quick, guys, is because we're seeing more and more of these countries, just like Hong Kong. Hong Kong is still, they're still right now, they're protesting, and it's fantastic. They should be. People are tired of it. People are waking up. They're tired of the corruption, and you're seeing it right now, which is absolutely fantastic. So, guys, when you see things like that, it just makes me happy to see that people are waking up around this world, and channels like mine and a bunch of other channels. We're all helping ushering this whole entire movement into the mass consciousness, and that's what it's all about. All right, so to bring it back to some good news here, we're going to go right back to some disgusting, terrible news. But what else do you expect? Disney manager was living vicariously through child porn images, deputies say. A manager at Walt Disney World has been arrested on a child pornography charge, according to the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Deputies said Brett Kinney, 40, admitted to being addicted to child porn after authorities showed up at his home on Haywood Lane in Lake Alfred last week and found files on his computer while executing a search warrant, according to an arrest report. Another worker at Disney, guys, nailed for pedophilia. You guys seeing a trend? Because back in the summer, I reported on an executive at Disney that got nailed for pedophilia as well. Don't bring your kids to Disney, guys. Kinney was at work during the time of the search warrant, according to his report, and his wife was home. That's great. Who was at the home at the time told deputies she remembered seeing a photo of a young nude boy about 10 to 12 years ago and asking her husband about the image, but couldn't remember the outcome of the conversation. Okay. After Kinney had been contacted about the search, he arrived at home and was interviewed by deputies. During the interview, Kinney told deputies he had been looking at child porn for 22 years, starting when he was in high school, according to the sheriff's office. And now he's going to jail. Again, guys, Disney is connected to the deep state and everything else that you could consider evil. All of it. I'm sorry if I'm shattering your happy world, but that is the truth. That is the reality. And there's more than just him, trust me. Because as the days go on, more and more of these people are getting arrested, and a lot of them work for Disney, and they're all into child porn. Just saying. Okay. Let's get into the meat and the potatoes here, guys. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring all this up, everyone was talking about the Clinton and Tulsi Gabbard interaction on Twitter. And if you guys didn't hear about it, I'm going to catch you up to date just real quick. Clinton suggested Gabbard was being groomed by Moscow to act as a spoiler in the 2020 race. U.S. intelligence agencies agree Russia is seeking to influence the next election, as it did Clinton's losing battle with Donald Trump. And just remember, guys, I'm reading this from The Guardian, so it's going to sound very fake newsy. But this is an article that is talking about the Twitter feud, so that's why I have it here. Clinton actually made the Russian asset remark about Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, last time out, who rejected the remark this weekend, but an aide later confirmed the thrust of Clinton's remarks referred to Gabbard saying, "if the nesting doll fits." So Clinton was calling out Gabbard, saying she was a Russian asset. So Gabbard shot back at Clinton on Twitter, calling the former First Lady, Senator, and Secretary of State the Queen of Warmongers and the embodiment of corruption. Now, I'll be honest, guys, I was on Twitter as this was all happening, seeing it unfold. And when I saw Gabbard take that shot and call her the Queen of Warmongers and the embodiment of corruption, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, I kind of felt like, I like this lady. She's calling Clinton out, calling her a fearmonger, and just the epitome of corruption, right? So, as this is going on, there's like this huge thing on Twitter about people saying, is Tulsi Gabbard a white hat for Trump, or is she just another deep state asset that's muddying the waters for Trump? And at the moment, in the time I was seeing all this news, all the news was coming out that mainstream was pushing this agenda that Tulsi was going after Clinton, calling her out, right? And that is when it triggered and hit me. Wait a minute. If mainstream media is pushing this, there's got to be a catch to all this, right? So there is a divide. There was a divide going. And you can see here, I threw this in here too. Hillary Clinton bails on D.C. event that Tulsi Gabbard is attending. And these two were supposed to be at a speaking event together, but at the last minute, so Clinton pulls out, came just hours after the former Secretary of State on Friday accused the Hawaii Democrat being the favorite of the Russians on a podcast, and she said because of scheduling conflicts, she could not make it. So it made Clinton look very weak. So that was also something else that everyone was like, oh, right, Tulsi Gabbard, all right, maybe she's not one of these other Dems, the socialists that we think she is, or like the rest of them, right? So I started to feel a certain way about Tulsi Gabbard. And I was like, maybe she's not one of the corrupted Dems, right? So that is one side of it. And right here, this news article, this is from 2016. And this is where a lot of the theories have come from. And I know a lot of people I know myself that think this is why they think Tulsi's a white hat working for Trump. On its face, Monday's summit at Trump Towers between President Donald Trump and Hawaii Democratic Representative Tulsi Gabbard makes little sense. Hawaii was Donald Trump's single worst state. He got only 29% of the vote, and it's by far the country's most racially diverse, with whites making up only about 1/4 of the population. But in a statement after the meeting, Gabbard, who has often challenged President Barack Obama on national security, said she held a frank and positive conversation with the president-elect, discussing Syria and other foreign policy issues. Gabbard, a member of the House Armed Service Committee, also said she and Trump discussed legislation that she is pushing that would end what she described as her country's illegal war to overthrow the Syrian government. Trump asked for the meeting, Gabbard said, to discuss Syria, the fight to defeat ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and other foreign policy issues. Aide to the president-elect said Trump wants to hear viewpoints from across the political spectrum. Now this was a meeting just between those two. And a lot of people think at this meeting of what they weren't just talking about Syria. They were talking about a plan to set up to input Tulsi Gabbard as a kind of a work behind the scenes politician to go after Trump's opponents and again to make Trump look better in the media. That is one side of the spectrum. And I was starting to feel that way because I honestly didn't really know too much about Tulsi Gabbard. And besides the fact she's very pretty, That was the only reason why I was even interested in even listening or looking at her at all, because she's a Democrat. But either way, so as we kept digging and digging and digging, I'm like, there's got to be more to this Gabbard chick. And of course, we always find it. And here it is, guys. So this is from WikiLeaks. And we find connections to John Podesta. The same John Podesta that is closely linked to Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and also the ridiculous show on History Channel that is linked to Tom DeLonge, to the Stars Academy, all that stuff. That same John Podesta. We all know who he is. But here's the email, guys. This is an email. Tulsi Gabbard wins in Hawaii. Dear John, this is one of her aides. This morning, we are one step closer to making history. In Hawaii, Vote Vets PAC endorsed Iraq veteran Tulsi Gabbard has won her primary in a stunning come-from-behind victory. If she wins in November, she, along with Tammy Duckworth, who we also feel very good about, would be the first female combat veteran ever elected to Congress in United States history. This is happening because of you. Your tens of thousands of dollars in donations for Tulsi's campaign through Vote Vets PAC allowed her to run a first-rate effort. Also because of your support, Vote Vets Action Fund was able to spread Tulsi's amazing bio. And it talks about how they were able to get Tulsi into the public spectrum to get her to where she was. Vote Vets Action Fund was the first group to step up to help her close that gap. In all, Vote Vets Action Fund spent over $317,000 promoting Tulsi's incredible biography. Now we're even closer to sending another incredible veteran to Congress to add to the growing voice of today's progressive veterans in the halls of power. From all of us at VoteVets.org, I want to thank you for helping make this all possible. It's a great day for all of us. Sincerely, John Stoltz. That email was to John Podesta. Right there. You can clearly see it. It's on WikiLeaks. I'll link it in the description below. So right there, that completely changed my opinion on Tulsi Gabbard. She's calling out Clinton, but again, she has direct ties to John Podesta funding how she became to the position where she is now. And there was also a picture, I cannot find it because I'm pretty sure Twitter took it down. I saw it this morning while I was at work. There was pictures of Tulsi Gabbard with Antifa members. Socialist agendas. Not good. Not good. And this tweet by Praying Medic really sums it up perfectly. And this is why everyone needs to keep emotions in check and to always keep a guard up against the mainstream media's agenda. This is what it's all about right here. Dem 1, we have no chance to win in 2020. Trump's base of support is too solid. Dem number 2, why not create a fight between someone they hate and someone they're sympathetic to, which would be Hillary and Tulsi Gabbard. You mean like Hillary and Tulsi? Dem 2, exactly. Divide and conquer. Dem 1, brilliant. And guys, that is what the deep state has been all about from the beginning. Divide and conquer the masses. Keep us attacking each other while the real players are behind the scenes pulling all the strings. They are the puppet masters. And to me, this makes perfect sense. Now, if you guys have other evidence that you guys can find for me that, show the other side of this that proves that maybe she's a white hat, drop it in the comments for me. Send me a message. Because in the beginning, I was kind of leaning towards the white hat, but now, I'm not so sure. Not so sure. So, before we end the episode, guys, just a quick Epstein update. I'm always going to update anything Epstein. And again, it has to do with Prince Andrew. Joined in an orgy with Jeffrey Epstein and 9 girls at billionaire pedophile's private island. Accuser claims in court papers. Now, a new investigation by Channel 4's dispatches as re-examined the court papers and looked at Miss Roberts' medical records from around the time she said she was abused. The program cites a court deposition made in January 2015 as part of a defamation case brought by Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, where she states that the third time she had sex with Andy was in an orgy on Epstein's private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, which we already know a lot of this, right? She said she was 18 at the time and that approximately 8 other young girls and I had sex together. She said Epstein had joked that the girls couldn't communicate well due to a language barrier and that he said they were the easiest girls to get along with. The program also unearths claims that Epstein had 13 contact numbers for Prince Andrew in an address book. But what's different about this, guys, is they're going to go into the court records and look at, I guess, some forensic evidence of, sexual fluids, I guess you could say, and find out if this is really Prince Andrew or not. And if that comes up, he's done. He's done. So, and something else too, which I don't ever remember seeing. The detective who led Epstein investigation died after a brief illness, guys. And this was a September 3rd. I don't know. I didn't see this anywhere. So I'm going to read it real quick. In June of last year, decorated former Palm Beach detective Joseph Recarey died after a brief illness at the age of 50, and that's basically all we know. But do a search for him and you'll barely see anything in the mainstream media or even alternative media about his death. This is just kind of a eulogy about who he was as an officer. In reading the account, it seems ironic that it is mentioned that Mike Mason, one of Recarey's closest friends and a former Palm Beach police officer, said he last saw Recarey on a recent Thursday. Recarey took off work the next day to spend time with his family. Now the story was printed on a Friday, but I'm not sure if recent Thursday would apply to the previous day or possibly another Thursday in the past week or two. Very weird. Regardless, all we know is he had a sudden brief illness and died as a result at the age of 50. Recarey was just one of two people willing to put his career on the line to go after Epstein. Palm Beach Police Chief Officer Michael Rader was one of the men that joined him. The Seattle Times reported on the two men and the work that took place in the case and the revelations that Rader and Recarey brought to light. But guys, it's like it just says a brief illness is what killed this man. I don't remember seeing any of this about him, and I don't know if you guys did either. I really don't remember seeing any of this. It must have gotten really, really swept under the rug because this came out in September, and everybody was in a hype over the entire summer about Epstein while he's being jailed and committed suicide and all that other stuff. But I don't know. Very interesting. But that's going to tie up today's episode, guys. So again, if you like the content, please subscribe right over here at my channel. Hit that like button, share with your friends and family, get the word out there. Support independent media because this is all we have. And real quick too, the QAnon boards at Acun now, not HN, it's Acun. They were briefly up. They were attacked by hackers, whoever, and brought it down temporarily, but they are almost back. It was the channel. Acun was up at some point because I even got on for a brief moment and then it kicked me out. It is working, so Q is gonna be back any day. So until then, guys, stay woke.